What's going on, y'all, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody is doing well this morning. So let's go ahead and kick this thing off, and I want to talk about the beef that's brewing between Charleston White and Woody. So they've been bickering, and there's been a back and forth banter going on between the two of them for quite some time. They've both been disrespecting the hell out of one another, with Charleston White, to me, going over the edge. I believe that he says something about Woody's daughter who's on the spectrum, and I say that respectfully. But ultimately, the beef stems from the fact that Charleston started calling Woody a snitch as it pertains to the whole Young Thug trial and things of that nature. But they were cool because I believe that there was video of Charleston White in Atlanta. They were walking through the mall together. Everything was all fine and dandy, but Charleston flipped the script and started talking about Woody, attacking his personal life, attacking his children, and things like that. So this new rant that took place like a few days ago, I want to play you what they both had to say about one another, and then I'll be back.
I ain't gonna fight you. You throw a cup of water in you. And this stinky half dead Charlie Blue. Oh, that Charlie Blue. This one can pop his eye out to get on the internet and tell everybody every damn thing about what's going on in the world. Tell them their eye. Tell them about how every time your co-defendant who you sent to prison for 40, 50 years, every time he come up for a appeal, how your show up at the parole board and tell the parole people, Charleston, Jamon, whatever, your middle name, White, fear for my life, that man is a menace to society. That man had to go back down there and do 10 more. You done did it 2 times already. But before they put your TV, talk about you snitch, you did, you were lying, telling all the people, your name ain't never been in black and white. You ain't never told on nobody in real life. So I was like, Here go the evidence, ho. You not only told on, you got to understand, and you had to have a good idea because you pointed with both of them, both your eyes looking the same way. And then they gave that 30 years because y'all out there trying to rob the man. And you talk about black people. Everything you talked about, it's on your criminal history. You want to come on the internet and pretend to be a real so bad. You try to play a snitch because you already know the internet going to dig up your background. Man, let's go find some dirt on this cock-eyed fool. And they did. Wow. Expose your. Now you talk about that happened when you was 16. You lying to me? What the do it got to do when you 16? Lil' King do what the man, Lil' King, he 14. He know better. Think about he's 16. You lied to me. Poke me some pink lemonade. Got me spinning.
You must forgot you got a dead baby in the ground. Woody must forgot he got a dead baby in the ground trying to talk noise. The maggots ain't even ate the baby up yet. The baby still got skin on his ass, Woody. And you want to go with me with a baby? Woody, you want to go with me? I'm gonna make you crash out. You know what? I'm gonna make you crash out. I'm finna talk about your baby. Now, didn't you just put a in a little box, look like a little shoe box? Oh no, Woody, didn't you just bury your in a Nike shoe box? You better leave me alone. Didn't you just put little William in a shoebox and put some sand on top of him? You better leave me alone, boy. Before I have your whole family crying again. Cause I ain't gonna talk about the living baby. I'm gonna talk about the baby. I'm gonna talk about that baby you can't burp no more. You ain't even get to burp him long. Boy, you were so happy when that baby was born. And then you tried to come online and play like you ready to crash out. You were just looking for some sympathy. I'm gonna get you some sympathy now, Woody. I'm gonna get you some motherfucking sympathy, nigga. I'm gonna talk about that baby in the shoebox. No, I ain't. I just did, and I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. This boy got a shoebox, baby. I'm gonna leave the boy alone. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. They just gave me all my shows back. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop right there. Hey, I could be really mean, but these people just gave. Ain't no turning back from this. I don't give a about that. Him in that baby. He ain't.
All right, so first and foremost, I want to acknowledge up front that these two individuals are not good human beings. Both of these dudes are tyrants, if I'm being honest. You have Woody going around, or allegedly back in the days, going around shooting people and things of that nature. Charleston White, he basically was involved in a deletion at the age of 14. And then you look at the rhetoric that he spews all over social media, just disrespecting people to the 10th power. Now, with that said, I want to say this to Charleston White. Whatever happens to Charleston White, it's well deserved. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not calling for Charleston White to be deleted, but if Woody was to pop his top, how could you fault him? How could you fault him? He's talked about both of that man's kids. And the fact that Charleston keeps going after Woody like that and other individuals is just not Woody, it makes me think that he don't care about his kids. Because if he keeps talking about people like that and involving their kids, he's not going to be around to raise his own kids. And another thing that I want to say is that I can't believe that people are still platforming Charleston. Like, when you see the behavior that he exudes, especially in this particular situation between him and Woody, how do you keep paying him to do interviews so your platform can grow? Because basically they want Charleston White on their show because he's a shock jock, basically. He'll say whatever, he'll say anything to try to gain and garner attention. And I don't understand that when you see a man talk about someone's kids in this regard, how do you continue to platform him? We have to watch all of these podcasts and everybody that keeps giving him a platform, and we have to say, yo, your character is in question too. But anyway, let's move along, and I want to talk about 50 Cent because 50 was promoting a new film called Moses the Black, and he talked about the grave mistake that Kanye and Nicki Minaj made, and I want you to check out this clip and I'll be back.
There's two things they tell you stay away from. They tell you stay away from religion and stay away from politics, because no matter what you think, someone passionately disagrees with you. All right, and I stay away from those things. That's how Kanye you know? And Nicki says some.
All right, so we heard what 50 said. 50 said that Kanye and Nicki effed up by talking about politics, and he also went on to say that he doesn't talk about politics or religion, but there's posts that 50 has made that suggest that he is a Trump supporter, and that's fine. That's his business, right? That's his business. But people were in the comments frying him, basically saying that it was preposterous that he would take this position because they've seen the same post that I've seen that suggests that 50 leans right. Now, there's been a surplus of the same question as it pertains to this situation, and basically people want to know, why is he changing his tune now? Why does he want to remain neutral? And I'm going to tell you why. It's about money now. It has always been about money, but what I'm saying is, of course, if you do a documentary on Diddy, you're going to make money. 50 is going to start branching off, and he's already have, with all of these films that are going to be coming out under his production company. And 50 probably wants to remain neutral so he doesn't piss anybody off politically and doesn't mess up the bag, right? Now, this is the thing. You have people out there that think this way, like they need to know who you support. Because if they don't know who you support, they won't support you. And so I think that 50 needs to take that into consideration as well. Another thing that I feel that 50 needs to take into consideration is the fact that he needs to work on speaking in front of large crowds, because this brother couldn't even articulate himself really well on that stage. He was messing up names and things of that nature. He did not look like he belonged there. He needs to work on speaking in front of a large crowd. I'm pretty sure that his nerves got the best of him. I just need to see that same level of confidence when he's performing on stage or when he's posting something corny and crazy on Instagram. Just keeping it all the way 100. But anyway, let's talk about Nicki Minaj, because she dodged losing her $20 million house after her husband Kenny basically broke the jaw of a bodyguard by the name of Thomas. Now, Thomas was awarded the $500K based off of the fact that Nicki and Kenny, they decided not to respond to the lawsuit. And so this happened back in 2019, and it just seems as though that Nicki and Kenny has just been putting this on the back burner for quite some time and basically paid off the judgment in the nick of time before they lost their $20 million home. Now, I want to move along and talk about Don Lemon because he will not be facing charges for covering the church protests at the city's church in Minneapolis. And Pam Bondi and the Trump administration are hotter than fish grease that they couldn't get Don on charges, but they did arrest the organizers of this protest, Nakima Levy Armstrong and Chantel Louise Allen, and they also arrested William Kelly. I want you guys to check out this news publication, and then I'll be back.
Federal authorities announced numerous arrests in connection to an anti-immigration enforcement protest that happened at a St. Paul church last Sunday. They include a well-known civil rights attorney and several activists. Now, this is video from that protest. Organizers say they were there to protest David Easterwood, a pastor at the church who leads the local ICE field office. Lou Ragoose joins us now with more on these arrests. Lou?
Lauren, the U.S. Department of Justice filed a very serious charge against these three activists, one that could carry prison time if they are convicted. A Sunday morning church service interrupted by protesters demanding to know why parishioners aren't joining them.
Why do you ignore the crimes of humanity that are happening in this city every day? Why are you not at Whipple protesting?
The protesters say they targeted City's church in St. Paul because one of its pastors, David Easterwood,
my name is David Easterwood,
also leads the local ICE field office. Now, three of the protest leaders are charged with a federal civil rights crime. Nakima Levy Armstrong, perhaps the most recognizable activist in Minnesota, along with St. Paul School Board member Chantel Allen and William Kelly, are charged with depriving people of the free exercise of religion. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi following through with her promise for consequences.
This is a farce.
Defense Attorney Jordan Kushner calling it a political persecution.
This was brought from Washington, D.C., by the people on the top of the government solely for political reasons.
Making the highly publicized arrest came with a lot of chaos. Kushner says federal agents looking for his client, Levy Armstrong, instead arrested a different black woman who was staying with her.
A bunch of agents tackled her violently and injured her because they thought that she was Nakima Levy Armstrong. They took her all the way to the Whipple Federal Building to before they realized that they had the wrong person.
Kushner says negotiations for Levy Armstrong's surrender were shot down by Washington officials who wanted the social media perp walk. Now, DOJ attorneys who flew in to prosecute the case are making every effort to keep the three defendants in jail. Now, the magistrate judge ordered the defendants released until their trial, but the DOJ is appealing that decision, leaving it unclear when they'll be released from custody. They are in jail right now. Now, attorneys for City's Church applauded the charges, saying the First Amendment gives the right to assemble, the right to worship God, but not the right to invade a church and terrorize worshipers. Lauren.
All right, so you guys just heard all of that. Now, this is very interesting to say the least. You got two sisters that are locked up now, along with William Kelly. William Kelly got locked up as well, but I want to focus on the two sisters right now because I want to see how Don Lemon is going to play this thing, because he flew to Minneapolis to basically cover the protest that these two women had organized, right? And so are you going to keep in touch with them? Are you going to try to turn them into the right direction to be able to have the resources to potentially bond out? I don't know. I just don't think that Don should just leave these two women hanging, or William Kelly, because I know me personally, I would be involved every step of the way as it pertains to this case, and I would try to help them the best that I can. But that's just me. Other people may not operate on that same level of frequency, but I don't know. I just feel like they're trying to get a national reaction for whatever their motive is or the end game in their eyes. I'm just keeping it real. But anyway, I'm gonna let this go right here. I want you guys to feel free to drop down in the comments and let me know what you think about everything that was discussed in this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and if you're new here, consider subbing to the channel. I'll get with you guys later. Peace.
Tough News TV. We out.